Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So we're back on the LT50 project today. We're going to do rear brake shoes. So I'm going to run you through everything you need to know about replacing the rear brake shoes and setting them up. Real simple job, guys. You can do it yourself. I wouldn't, worry about it too much. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's following this channel. As a lot of people have been asking, I announced in the last video that I am going to be raffling this quad off when it's finished. So I'm going to hopefully give it away to a subscriber, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously we've got a lot of work to do. We haven't even finished doing repairs yet. Then we're going to go down the road of modifying, and then I'm going to completely restore it, paint it, new plastics, everything, and really make it quite sick. So yeah, obviously stay tuned to the project, and yeah, I'll give you more information as we go along. So like I say, there's a lot to do, but we're going to get on with it. So yeah, let's crack on.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.
Again, ready? Right then, guys, so as you can see, I've got it up on his nose. You can see by here now I've got a block of wood under the front bull bar just to kind of balance it on its nose, just to make life a bit easier. Now I have took the mud guard off, but I've only done that to let a bit of light in so you guys can see what I'm doing, make things a bit easier. Now I'm going to remove the wheel and the hub, so yeah, I'll get the wheel off and then I'll set the camera up and we'll start stripping this down. So yeah, let's take a look. Right then, guys, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the hubcap. Now there is a split pin in here. I've already I've left him straight because I had him off not long ago, so obviously you'll need to bend that back and then get him out. Once we've done that, then we can go ahead and remove the axle nut. So I'm going to remove him. Now under here we got two washers. So we've got a little thin washer, which is the first one, and then we've got the actual big washer that the hubcap clicks to. So make sure you get them both off. And then we can go ahead then and remove the hub. Now if you find this is seized, you might have to get like a blunt chisel or something, or maybe a puller, and obviously pull off your hub. But obviously I did two videos on this. I've done new chain and sprockets, and I've also done axle bearings, so I've had this apart a few times. So and like I say, always clean everything up and copper slip everything so that it comes off nice and easy. So yeah. Now the next thing we'll do is remove this cover. So there's this little cover that covers the drum, so just give it a twist and a pull. There's a couple of indents that just clip onto a groove on the axle to cover it, to stop any dirt getting in there. And there she is. Now the hub itself, or the drum itself, actually sits on a spline, so it just slide off. Now what we're going to have to do is remove all the obviously the tension off the brake cable to allow the shoes in as possible, because any sort of lip inside this drum will catch as you're trying to get the drum off. So what we're going to do is we're going to slacken this cable all the way off. Now if you're uncertain, I would probably disconnect the cable completely, either on this end or at the lever end, just to make sure, but this one's nice and loose, so it's all going to come apart okay. So yeah, we'll go ahead and loosen that off. So we're going to take a flathead screwdriver. Now there's a slot cut in the end of the cable, and then it's a 14mm spanner, and we can go ahead and wind the tension off the cable. If you need to wind it more, you can possibly pull the spring back and get a pair of pliers or something, but try and hold it at the end, not on the thread, because you don't want to damage it. So I know for a fact that's enough there. And there we have it. So there's the drum, so I'm just going to pull that out the way. Now I will warn you, this spline where the actual drum seats onto is known for seizing. The truth of this actual quad is, this is actually the second axle it's had, that obviously since I've had it. I actually, when I did the axle bearings, you'll see one of my previous videos, I actually failed to get this drum off, and when I had the axle off, I thought it'd be good to try and get it off, so obviously for a future video I could show you guys how it comes apart. And the truth of the matter is, I actually warmed the center of this drum up and put it in a press to try and obviously remove it, and it actually distorted the center of the drum and actually killed it. So this is actually a second-hand axle that I bought off someone on Facebook, and fair play, I think it was about 60-70 quid, and they posted the whole lot out to me, so I got plenty of spares now. And yeah, I've obviously, this one I've removed and cleaned up so I can show you. So if you can't get this drum off, so what you can do is you can just put a chisel and just give it a tap and try and tap it off. There's no way really to pull it, but if you fail to get this drum off, if you watch my sprocket video, or even my axle bearings video, it'll show you how I stripped it down from the other side and then obviously took the axle and drum off in one. That's your other way of doing these shoes. So if you can't get the drum off, don't stress, you can do it. All you got to do is you're going to have to take the whole axle, so you're going to have to take the wheel, the hub, the spacer, the sprocket, hub. Like, you can actually get a chisel quite easily on the back of that hub and knock it off. That was tight as well, and then you can go ahead and tap the axle through the bearings, and then you can go ahead and do this. But if you're going to go to all that effort, check your axle bearings. You'll see my previous video will show you everything you need to know about that, and make sure, because if you're stripping it completely down, you might as well just tap them two bearings out and do them at the same time. So yeah, we'll go ahead now and remove these shoes. Right then, so now there is a couple of different ways of getting these shoes off. As you can see, they sit on a little cam by here, which is flat, so the shoes will actually just slip off there, okay? Now you could try to stretch the springs off. There's two springs, obviously either side. You could try and get like a pointy pliers or something, but they are quite a bit of tension on them springs. So what I'm going to do is just unhook it on this side, and I'm going to take the shoes and springs off in one lump, and then put them back on in one lump. So on this end, there's just a pivot, and there's actually like a metal ridge that holds these shoes on. So obviously they're what hold it all in line. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a screwdriver underneath, and I'm going to try to lift it, just twist it and lift it over the ridge. So it's not actually as more difficult as you think. So there's the one, and then tell you what, we'll just go and pull the one off for now. So what we can actually do is pop it off. There we go. And then there we go. So that's the two. So as you can see, we kind of just tilted them and pulled them off. So what we'll do with the new ones, we'll tilt it the same way and we'll try and pry them on. You can see there's quite a lot of tension on them springs. If I just pull these out here now. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of tension. If I actually try and line these shoes up, you can see it actually holds itself together. That's how tight these springs are. So to get these springs off in situ would be really difficult. Right then, so here's my old shoes. Now here's my new ones. So obviously I've gone for EBC. I worked in a bike shop for a long time, and EBC are what I would believe is one of the top brakes out there. So I like to stick to good makes. I will put a link down to these shoes in the description, so you can see exactly where I got them from. I got these off eBay. They weren't a bad price. Like you say, they're the same as the originals. So always just make sure they do match up. And yeah, they come with new springs as well. It's always good to replace the springs at the same time. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to clip the springs in place. So hook that one on there and hook that one on there. Now like I said earlier, they are pretty tight, but that's what you want really. So hook our two springs, just hook that over the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook the two springs on. There we go. Now you can see I've got it like this, and I'm just going to stretch it and pull it together. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to bend this over and then hook it onto the cam and onto the pivot. And yeah, it's quite simple really. Now I'm going to take a bit of copperies and just put a bit. I know it does actually move on you, but it won't hurt it. If anything, it'll just stop it sticking. So I'm just going to put a bit on there. And oh, sorry, I knocked the camera. So here's our new shoes. Now obviously, like I said, we're going to have to stretch this on. So you could try and just stretch it, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a little bit. We'll see if this works. I hope it does, otherwise I'm going to look a bit silly. I'm just going to angle it over the side there so that's loose. So we can go ahead now and hook the one shoe on, and then I'm going to pull the bottom of this shoe here over on. So we'll hook the one on and then pull the other, and then there we have it. Now and then once you get them on, go ahead and stretch them, and then I'm just going to push. Now obviously you don't want to get your fingers in there, so I'm just going to tap that into place, give the top of the shoe a push, and that's all located. So you can see now it's actually on the pin, located on the pin. It was a little bit tight, and I'm not going to lie to you, it just took me 3 attempts to do that, so I'm not overly proud of myself, but yeah, it's the first time I've done it, so I'll give myself that one. Now obviously you can see this cam is on a bit of an angle. It is actually pushing the shoes out a bit, but that is the length of my cable, and I can't really back that nut off anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and try the drum on now, and then we'll go from there. Right, so we'll go ahead now and slip the drum back on. Again, make sure it's all nice and copper slipped up, and we'll just make sure that it'll go onto the new shoes. Which it won't. Right then, 2 things to note here now. The first one, you can see I've had to back this cable off. Well, I've actually took the nut off for a second, just to allow it to come right off. And also, inside my drum, there was quite a bad rust lip on the outside of the drum. So what I've had to do is I've got a scraper and scrape the worst off, and then just got a bit of emery tape and just cleaned it up. And then it just slips on lovely. So yeah, you might have to do the same just to get the drum on. Obviously with brand new shoes, you need as much clearance as you can, so once I get it on there now, I'm going to reconnect the cable, and then we'll set him up. Right, so I'm going to use a set of pointy mole grips just to hold it, to make life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clamp it on the cable. Oh, a bit seized. Oh, it's been such a cold winter this year, it's unbelievable. Right, so I'm going to try and pull this spring back. It's a bit awkward with the camera, but I'm just going to pull this spring back. Obviously I don't want to clamp it on the threads, so I'm just going to go below the threads and clamp it, and then I can pull this down and then put the nut on. Right then, so we've got it all adjusted. Now I don't know if you can notice, but my spring has actually got no tension on my cable, and if you can see, it's not protruding from the nut. So as you can see, it's just too tight inside the drum. Obviously the new linings are a lot thicker, so it's obviously moved. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to reposition this arm. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it off on the spline, and we're just going to turn it 1 notch, obviously closer towards the cable, and then reset it up. So I'll take the camera around and we'll do that. I'm going to take this bolt out, and now there's a groove in the actual shaft, so you have to remove this bolt to get it off. So we're just going to take it off, turn it 1 notch, and then put it back on. Now it might be worth just pulling your drum off and making sure that your actual cam in here is pushed all the way in, because obviously that could come out. So we're going to just make sure that's up nicely and tight against there, and then go ahead and refit the nut and bolt. It's a bit awkward, but like you say, if you might be lucky and you might find that it'll fit straight on, but if your shoes are completely worn out, then I'd say somebody's probably adjusted this in the past, and you'll have to readjust it back to square one. And there we have it back together. So I've put the cable in and just wound it down. You can see now I've got a fair bit of adjustment. It wasn't all the way in the nut like it was before. I go ahead and operate the brake there now. You can see we got a nice firm brake. So if I just turn the wheel and then pull the brake on, that locks on lovely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it to obviously the lock on the lever. So what I'm going to do just get down by here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, obviously, I want to make sure that the lever on the lock on the lever, sorry, when I lock that on, it locks the brake. So if I was to pull the lever on now and clip the lock in, I can still turn the wheel. So what I'm going to do, I've got the lever locked on the bars, so the brake is obviously locked on, but obviously, like I said, I can turn it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tighten this up now until I can't physically turn it, and that should be enough. One, two. Oh, that's firm, but maybe a little bit more. 3, 4. One more for luck. I'll go another 2. There you go. Oh yeah, that's solid. So it does move if you force it, but like you say, you can kind of just play it by ear and just give it a bit of an adjust, and then I'll go ahead and remove the lock, and it turns lovely. There we go. So we'll just fit our cover. Now obviously make sure that it's clipped on tidy. You want to make sure it's not rubbing, because obviously it could cause a little bit of noise or whatever. If mine's a little bit on the loose side, so I'd advise probably maybe just crimping it a little bit more, but that should do it. And then we'll go and fit our spacer. Again, make sure it's all copper slipped up, and then once we've done that, we can go and refit our hub. I'm going to put it in line with the other side, but it doesn't really matter. And there's our big washer and our little washer, followed by our nut. And once again, like I said in the previous 2 videos, well, the axle video, obviously axle bearing video, and in the chain and sprockets. No, actually, tell the truth, did I take the hub off the chain and sprockets? Yeah, I did, sorry. I had to think about that for a second. I've done so many videos on this quad. I'm just going to tighten this up, so obviously give it a nip so it's down, and then all you want to do is turn it till it lines up with the split pin hole. So the split pin hole, believe it or not, that's actually lined up with the split pin hole, but I'm going to turn it to the next one because obviously I want it nice and tight. So you just, there we go, that's nice and tight. I'm just going to stick my split pin in. There we go. Took a bit of doing. Right then, guys, so that's it. It's that simple. It was a little bit fiddly because I had to move that arm and all. I don't know why, just because the shoes are quite thick. If you had thinner shoes, they might not have that problem, but at least you know what to do now if you come across it. Like I say, I'm going to run this quad now, obviously bedded in and readjust. You might find after a first use or 2 you might have to adjust it up a little bit, but yeah, just to brush on as well, like I said at the start of the video, I want to see this quad, you know, go to someone who's going to get some use out of it. So rather than just sell it once I'm finished, I've decided I'm going to do some sort of a, I don't know, like a raffle or something, or, you know, give it away to one of my subscribers hopefully, or you know, we'll sort something out. It's going to be a while yet. I've got lots of videos to do. I got some big plans. I want to get everything repaired on it, get it all to brand new pretty much. Then I'm going to go down the route of obviously tuning it up. I did actually build a race one of these for my my nephew, so I got a good bit of insight on how to tune it and get it up to obviously race speed. He competed in grass track for a couple of years, so and he actually did pretty well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And what I'll do, anything I do, I will show you obviously how to try and do it yourself, or where I got the parts from, or how to do it, obviously, like when it comes to the tuning and stuff like that. And even with, like, I'm probably going to make a custom exhaust like I did for my nephew's quad, show you how to do that, and obviously what you need to get to make it, and then yeah, hopefully show you the difference. You'll be surprised what you can actually do with these quads. So yeah, stay tuned. Like I always say, you know, hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everyone's support. If you've got any ideas or anything you know, information or anything you want to see, put it in the comment box. You know, I reply to every single comment. I can't thank you guys enough for obviously supporting my channel. It's been brilliant. I got to be honest, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you guys, and keep supporting me. Like I say, I do a full-time job, and this is just a hobby. So the fact that I've got over 1,200, coming on 1,300 subscribers now. So yeah, thank you very much, and make sure you like and subscribe, and like I say, stay subscribed, and we'll keep you up to date with what's going on with this quad. And yeah, thanks again, and look forward to the next video. So see you on the next one.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.